Hello again, welcome back to another one of these. Last week we left David Weiss talking to a anti-COVID, COVID-denying, anti-vaxxer, conspiracy theorist, survivalist, snake oil selling con person who goes under the name of Z Media, which is no kind of credible media outlet at all. But anyway, so far we had got up to the point where Dave was trying to equate a hypersonic sled travelling on the surface of the Earth to the same speed as the Earth moving through the universe. Gigantic false equivalence, for obvious reasons, anybody with a lick of sense. But he did say at the end of the last one that he could understand, or your brain short circuits and you can't comprehend these speeds. He can't, I can, Max can, I'm pretty sure Luke can as well, because we can actually understand the difference between something moving on the Earth and the Earth itself moving. Yeah, that makes sense. So I did have a look at other things, see if I was going to give this one a break. But I took one look at what Level Up Observer was up to.
I think we'll pause it there, as our underwater star here gets lowered into his underwater pantomime stage.
I had a funny feeling I'd just be going over the same ground again and again and again. Still waiting on a proper analysis of that 50-minute ISS video. You haven't managed it yet, but, fingers crossed. So if you will, let's get back to part 3 of an indeterminate number of episodes of David Weiss being interviewed by a hack and just being allowed to spout off whatever's in his mind, as nonsensical as that may be.
People say, well, what about, why doesn't the water fall off the flat Earth, right? Because that's the biggest meme. That's the biggest meme out there. And the answer is because we're not a disk floating in space. They want you to believe that, if you look up flat Earth, you're going to come up with a disk, kind of like this, right? And this is John Avalon on CNN, making fun of flat Earth, right? It's like a turn up with, dirt on the bottom. This is not flat Earth.
I do believe that earlier on you were extolling the virtues of Mr. Mark Sargent, who actually said that was indeed flat Earth, and he had a little cardboard cutout to prove it.
So are you certain this is what the Earth looks like?
Pretty sure. Almost. I mean, there are some details to be worked out, sure, but the basic concept is sound.
I say that we live in what I call the Antarctic Basin, right? What is that? So all of the oceans of the world are like a pond, right? A pond needs containment. The surface of a pond is flat. The surface of a lake is flat. The surface of the oceans at rest lie flat.
No, they lie level, held in place by gravity, pulling them down to the centre of mass of the planet. It's quite telling. I say that a lot, don't I? I think it's quite telling that you can hear the hesitation in his voice, because he's created or has reinforces this absolutely bonkers concept of the flat Earth, or he didn't invent it, whatever, but he's got to try and reinforce it and try and explain it to this person who is essentially a sponge for the information he's giving out. So he's basically relating his entire theory or theories towards a layman, someone who has never heard of flat Earth before, even though this woman is obviously just giving him an audience, so to speak. And the hesitation in his voice just shows, like as I said in the last episode, he's got to constantly try to make sure he doesn't contradict something he said before. He's already just contradicted himself 30 seconds ago by saying the round disc isn't flat, even though Mark Sargent says it is, and he says that Mark Sargent is a pretty good source of information regarding the flat Earth. Bye-bye, Mark Sargent, by the way. Bye-bye. You said you were going to leave if somebody provided you proof of, the curvature out of a plane window. It's been done several times, so bye-bye. It was nice knowing you, Mark. Bye-bye.
That's the shoreline of our world, right? So that contains the water. That's called Antarctica. Antarctica is the highest land on Earth. They don't teach you that in school, okay? Makes sense. The shoreline of our world to stop the water from spilling over is Antarctica. Some people call it the ice wall, okay?
You call it the ice wall. Everyone else just calls it what it is. It's a continent on the very bottom of the planet.
I was just about to say the ice wall. I mean, you're not allowed in this place. You are going to be shot on sight if you go past a certain point. So there's clearly something that's being hidden there.
As far as some of the more nonsensical ideas about the guarding of the ice wall, so to speak, or the hypothetical ice wall. Being shot on sight really is one of the most stupid things I've ever heard. As we've said before, and he has said before, you can go to Antarctica. People working on Antarctica, not just on that little peninsula he was talking about, various spots all around. That Lenin statue I spoke about last time was actually on top of it was a Soviet research station. It was called something like the Impossible to Get to place. It was a weird name, something like that, in Camp Inhospitable. I'll look it up and I'll put it across the bottom here. Sorry. So there's more than one research station on the South Pole. It's not just on that peninsula. There's lots of them. And no, you don't get shot if you get close to the South Pole. You're turned back if you're not invited. You can't just turn up on Antarctica. As you said before, mean temperatures over the year is minus 57 degrees. If you're going down there in a parka and a pair of sturdy boots, you're going to get turned around, because if you don't, you're going to die.
So the globalists out there will argue anybody can go there. There's 100 different companies that'll take you to this little tiny island at the tip of this peninsula, which is called Rothschild Island or Deception Island. It's next to Rothschild Island. Okay. This little tiny peninsula is bigger than some countries. It's not, don't be fooled. This pink line represents 60 degrees south. No one is allowed to go beyond there. Okay. And then the globalists, anti-flat earthers will go out there. Oh, what is everybody linking elbows, all the way around, guarding, saying, don't come in. No, there's 8 different islands. There's 8 islands. Let me just show you.
Okay.
There's eight different islands that are all owned. They have military bases. They're all owned, run by the Crown.
Oh, right. So it's all the fault of the king, is it? Jolly good. I think I know where he's going with this, and brace yourself, because I think I might swear.
No one's allowed to go by. There's military bases. Remember the Falkland Islands War? Okay. What? That's weird. Off of South America, the little island. Why are they fighting over it? It's because this is where they have these bases.
Now, this is why I'm going to get angry. Because at this point in time, he is being he knows nothing about the Falkland Wars. It happened in 1982. I actually worked with somebody who was one of the first engineers into Port Stanley during the conflict. Heineck. I doubt very much if you're watching, but Heineck. The Falkland War was started because Argentina invaded the Falkland Islands because they claimed they had territory over them. They call them Las Malvinas. They are the Falkland Islands. They've been part of the British Isles since 1840, something along those lines. They are very British. They had a recent referendum where the vast majority, and when I say they had a referendum, one person voted against the Falkland Islands remaining part of the British Isles, and I'm pretty sure that bloke was just having a laugh. What dickhead. But regarding the Falkland Wars, nearly 1,000 people died, including 3 civilians during the Falklands War. Something like 2,000 people were injured, 2,000 soldiers and whatever were injured. It was a horrific conflict. All conflicts are horrific. And for this piece of shit to try and exploit those people who died, nearly 1,000 people who died, nearly 1,000 soldiers on both sides, cumulative, to say that it was to protect this bloody stupid notion of there being armed sentries or armed bases all around the base of the world, around the edge of the world, the non-tentacle flat disc, to protect this farcical idea is just fucking insulting to those people who died in the conflict. So David Weiss, on this particular occasion, sir, you can go yourself.
And then there's a network of buoys, radar, mesh buoys that go all the way around. No one is allowed to go there. If you try, you will be turned around. Now, you can go to Antarctica. We have flat earthers that have worked in Antarctica.
Hang on. I thought you just said you get shot on sight. You don't get turned around. And even though you get shot on sight, you can go to Antarctica. Which one is it?
If you go from Santiago right here, and right here, you can have a base over here. You can have a base over here. I know that there's this base, and I know there's another one off of, I think, somewhere off of Australia, but I don't know of any others, okay?
He's got a map in front of him. He's citing as evidence. He said there's 2 maps. He said, Santiago. He's just been talking about it. That's where the Falkland Islands are. Now he says one over the other end of the map. On his map, that's Australia. And I don't know where any of the others are. He's got 8 bloody flags. Why is anybody listening to this absolute...
And then the question is, what's out here? We don't know. We don't know what's out there.
And we're not allowed to know. Yeah.
We're not allowed to know. So I like to say, you know, what if the world is set up like this? Here we are. This ring is Antarctica. Now, again, to prove the Earth is flat, we don't need to speculate what's above or higher than we can get or what's beyond the shoreline of Antarctica. But there's many stories from the 1800s and before of more land beyond there.
Now, I think I spoke about this in my previous video about Admiral Byrd, who was the one who said that in his exploration of the South Pole, there was more land past the South Pole that was about the size of North America. Now, as I said last time, that was true at the time. But remember that Admiral Byrd turned around and came back. But this obviously has been conflated and taken completely out of context to say that past Antarctica, there's more land. But that's completely not what they said at all.
This realm, this level horizontal realm, and there was more land out here, Maria. What would you call somebody that lived on extra territory, extra terra?
Yes, I'll tell you why this particular model doesn't make sense to me, Dave. I'll let you know.
Okay.
I'm a Christian. I'm a believer.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
when I look at what the word says, and it says God made two, paraphrasing, 2 lights to govern the sky, one for day, one for night, right? So I think, okay, if the Earth, I don't know that there's anything beyond the ice wall because there isn't more than one sun. That's where my thinking goes.
Bizarrely, that's actually a very good point, because this double Earth, you know, more land outside the Antarctic ice wall, is another one of their bonkers series that has no credibility. But she's actually made a very good point. Now let's see how well Dave can answer it, because if there is that extra land, what's lighting it? Where's the illumination? We've already spoken about the bizarre sun and moon that has no obvious means of projection or propulsion, or suspension or propulsion, just floating in the sky and then spiraling in and spiraling out again. But now there's extra land. What's illuminating that? And does our sun do it? Where does it go? Again, more ideas. They're just literally throwing crap at a dartboard and seeing what sticks. That was probably the most nonsensical analogy I've ever come up with, but I kind of like it.
Well, there could be, you know what? I can go either way. I'm literally 50-50, right? You can also interpret the Bible. It says, you know, the 4 corners of the earth. What if the earth was just talking about a bigger expanse with multiple ponds? And they're only talking about, you know, the sun that's in our area. Let's go with you, because neither of us know, and you want to go on scripture. I'm with you. Let's go on scripture. But here's how they hide it. Okay. Here's how, let me, lost it for a second. So here's how they would hide the, you know.
It's about this point that all the students in the classroom suddenly realise the substitute teacher doesn't know what the hell he's talking about, has only got really crappily organised notes to go off, and they lose all interest in anything he has to say.
Is you just take it and you wrap the earth around a sphere, and all of this land, let's say the dome was outside of that. Let's say the dome terminates, and there's a lot of evidence for that. Then they say, you know, this is Antarctica, okay? Right? So we took that picture, this, right? And we cut it out right here. Let's say the dome, there's a dome, a biblical dome, it goes around out here. Cut this off, right? And then wrap it around a sphere. Here we go. So we take it and we just wrap it around a sphere. And then we say, you can't explore out here. You can't explore this white frozen wasteland, right?
Yes, that's
this is off limits.
Well, as we've said before many times, no, it's not. You just need a lot of preparation and permission to go there.
Say, Maria, you and I both want to know. We want to see if you're right. You know, if we're interpreting the Bible correctly, or maybe there's more lands. We want the right to explore as free human beings.
Saying about the biblical interpretation, there's just one reference. I believe they call it the firmament, which they can't get their head around the word firm is in there, which means solid or just stiff, for lack of a better expression. Yeah, firmament in the literal meaning of the word just means sky.
It matters that we are being lied to about where we live, who we are, right? And the truth, that we are at the center of creation. That's the amazing part. They want us to believe that we're an insignificant speck flying through a random Big Bang universe with, at best, a distant, deluded God.
And there we have it. I've said it before many times. These people literally think they're the centre of the universe. In the grand scheme of things, Dave, when compared to the size of the universe we know, we're smaller than a mote of dust. You are not as important as you want to be.
Well, you mentioned the fact that some of the arguments against flat Earth are that the water would just spill over the sides based on, the disc. I don't find that any. I mean, the pictures that you've shown and the Arctic wall, if you will, around the Earth, under the model that you're suggesting it is, I find that more believable than a globe spinning at these insane speeds and the water not falling over the edges of that.
Okay, I'm going to skip this bit because they're going over the same ground, saying the same tired old things. We're not doing ridiculous speeds. In this scale of the universe, we're actually going mind-numbingly slow.
So think about this, and I always want to break. I like a frying pan is the best example. So you got an iron frying pan. It weighs like 5 pounds, right? And so I got my hand here, and I want to push the frying pan. I got the frying pan in my hand. I want to push it up against this hand. Now, if I put 1 pound of upward pressure on there, can I get it to my hand? No, because the frying pan is 5 pounds. But if I put 5 pounds of pressure, I can hold that frying pan to the bottom of my hand, right? So I need 5 pounds of pressure to hold it there. If I had a 10-pound frying pan, I would need 10 pounds of pressure to hold it there, right? Makes sense. It's logical. You with me?
Yes.
All right. On a globe, we have hundreds of trillions of tons of water on the bottom of a ball spinning adjacent to a scientifically impossible space vacuum. How much pounds of pressure would you need to hold trillions of tons of water to a ball?
Trillions of tons. Trillions of tons.
Wow, I'm glad I carried on watching. That's probably one of the most nonsensical things I've ever heard him say. 1, it's not the bottom. 2, there's nothing holding it up. Gravity is holding it down, so to speak, even though gravity doesn't pull down, it draws towards the centre of mass. And yeah, like I said before, the planet Earth is not hanging from a string in space.
But somehow butterflies can fly, I can hold my arms up, I can jump. A summer breeze can blow the air left, right, up and down, but gravity is holding it from the all-powerful space vacuum.
Believe it or not, I'm actually only 26 minutes into this, so I'm going to have to probably abridge this. He's already started repeating himself about gravity actually being, it's actually an amazingly weak force. It's also a gradient going up to the outer edges of the atmosphere, as we've spoken about before. Yeah, we can jump because gravity is not that strong. It just really does beg a belief that this guy, who is so well known in certain circles, is, he's still listened to. Anybody, why is anybody listening to this man at all? That last sentence alone should show you perfectly exactly how much the man knows about anything.
So let me go Google, right? You Google, they're going to feed you garbage. You get nothing, right? It's like if you are relying on Google to learn about flat Earth, you're going to just be like, you're just going to give up. Your brain's going to get tired. Or going to go, well, I couldn't find anything on flat Earth.
Well, that's kind of funny because if you Google the words flat Earth, you get 650 million results. Thing is, and I think this is a little bit where Dave's getting a little bit stuck and annoyed, the Google algorithm generally brings up the most popular and most factual results to the top. The ones with the most credibility, most sought after and verified. Let's have a quick look at the first few. Flat Earth is an archaic and scientifically disproven conception. Something about fighting flat Earth theory. Modern flat Earth beliefs. Flat Earth is what they believe and why. Are flat Earthers being serious? The flat Earth conspiracy is spreading around the globe. Ha 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 ha. Looking for life on a flat Earth pizzas, flat Earth theory, model, meaning and facts. Exploring the flat Earth beliefs, identity and rationality. So basically David Weiss was lying. Colour me shocked. Yeah, Googling flat Earth brings up nothing. Plenty there, mate. But this is where confirmation bias comes in. It's where you're looking for the results that feed your already preconceived narrative and not ones that contradict it. So you might be looking for the Google results that cement your own belief system and completely disregard the ones that don't, which is probably why you're not getting many results that feed into your little rabbit hole of nonsensicality. Thing is, in this case, Google's working perfectly. It's just your mind isn't.
You know, everything I saw is completely ridiculous, and that's the case. That's why I made this app. It's called the Flat Earth Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app. You have it, Maria?
Yes, I bought
That's
it.
true?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes, it's not for sale. You have to buy it. And if the rumours are true, it's a massive data mining operation that's stealing all your personal data. However, that could just be innuendo and hearsay. I have no verifiable sources to back that up. It's literally just what I've heard. But by Dave's own experience, that's more than enough to say it's absolutely true. Okay, that will most certainly do for this evening. It's very late and I'm very tired. I've actually recorded quite a bit of this. And we're just getting into a little bit where the woman who has allowed him this audience really shows her true colours, but we'll get into that at the start of next week. It's not a big part of the whole feature, but yeah, it's not shocking, but expected more than anything. So that'll do for tonight. Thank you very much for watching if you got this far. Thank you very much for all the comments on the previous videos, positive or negative. Nice to see David Weiss has actually commented on one of the videos, living rent-free in his head apparently, or he's living rent-free in my head. I really haven't got the room to spare. Sorry Dave, you'll have to move out. But anyway, I will carry this on next time. Might be middle of the week. Give me a bit more time to do some editing. Thanks again for watching. I will see you next time.